Hello everyone and welcome back to my video. Told you I'd be back. So yes, I am back and today we are going to be talking about just what I said in my past video that I was going to be talking about, why I chose University of Central Florida to be my college. Disclaimer, I have not attended the university yet, so I don't want you guys to think that I'm like professional in this field. I just wanted you guys to have an inside look on what a freshman thinks, maybe kind of trying to help your decision. I don't know, just to kind of help out, to talk about it, just to let it out. I am here. So first I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story and how I found the school and how I decided to go to the University of Central Florida. As a kid, I knew I always wanted to go to Florida. You know, I wanted to go to like Disney University. They have like that internship program. I really wanted to do that for the longest time. However, as I got older, I kind of leaned away from Florida because that was my vacation place, and I felt like if I went to school there, it would ruin it for some reason. I don't know why. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, it's my vacation place. Why would I not want to live there? But whatever. That's what happened. So I had my heart set on California, and this was because I found out probably sophomore freshman year that I wanted to go into the art of directing. I really loved movies. I really wanted to make movies. I didn't want to be on like the camera facing me, ironically, but I wanted to make them. I really wanted to learn it and just do it, man. I had high dreams, right? So I began looking into Californian schools. My top picks were like UCLA, Southern California, all the top dogs, which people are probably like thinking now, are you insane? And the answer is a little bit. I'm a little bit crazy. But yes, I wrote all these colleges down, I researched them, I looked up their tuition, and me and my mom had like a notebook that we wrote all my college information in. So I had like a section for Californian schools, a section for Wisconsin schools in case I needed a backup plan or in case I did happen to stay at home, and then miscellaneous schools, things that I was kind of thinking about, kind of not thinking about, just schools in general that could be of my assortment that I had going on. So we wrote down, like I said, all these facts about the schools, all the content of the schools, how big the school was, the requirements of getting into the school, and I gave it to my mom. I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to California. So we looked into it, and then she was looking, and then we saw the prices of the schools, and like, one drop down. We saw the academic requirements of the school, and my grades are really good, but I'm a terrible standard test taker, so that really messed me up. So I kind of was hesitant and didn't think I had the skill or the high enough test score to get into that school. I definitely had the drive, I definitely had the grades for it, but not necessarily the ACT score, which a lot of schools look at as important. So that was down. And then my mom, not me, but my mom thought it was kind of a big change from like Midwestern life to like Californian life. She's like, that's a big change, a total cultural shock. So she kind of leaned me off of it. She kind of was like, I don't think that's the best idea. But I'll be honest, it was mainly because of the money. And I forgot to mention the likelihood of me actually getting into the schools. I knew my chances were slim, but I still wanted to try. I still thought I had a chance, da-di-da-di-da. But like I said, Mom was like, maybe look at different kind of schools. So I began looking, not really my heart fully into the looking because my heart was still set on California, and at points it still is, but I knew I would have to find an alternative just because of all those factors. Ironically, not really ironically, but yeah, kind of. Ironically enough, one day I was on YouTube and I found this girl's YouTube channel, and she went to the University of Florida. And I'm like, that's really, really cool. And I began to learn more about her, watched her videos more, and I learned that she was going for telecommunications, which is essentially what I would like to go for, just having a broader perspective, producing, directing, all that jazz. And I'm like, oh my god, this looks really cool. She really seems to love that school. It looks like she's like doing something. She makes awesome videos. I think I might want to look into this school. So for the longest time, I thought I was going to the University of Florida, one of the rival schools. I know, don't get mad at me. I did change my mind. You're welcome. So since I had my heart set on this school, my mom's like, maybe we should like go take a trip to Florida, you know, hit up Disney World while we're there, you know, just family vacay, mainly for college tours, but you know, we could still go to Disney World. That's pretty much what she said. So we went down to Florida to tour schools. But here's the catch. My mom required me to pick at least 2 other schools to tour. So in case I didn't like it, even though I thought I was going to completely fall for it, I'm like, Mom, don't be silly. But luckily I did. But she's like, yeah, I want 2 fallback schools. So we began to do our research. I obviously chose Florida State because it's the biggest school. I thought it would be most interesting to tour. And the director of Moonlight came from that school. So I'm like, could be a good option. And then I chose the University of Central Florida. And I was going down there. In my mind, the ranking system was the University of Florida, Florida State, and Central Florida. I really didn't see myself going down to Central Florida. It didn't really occur to me, and I think because I kept having that mentality in my mind that I need to go to a big school. And you're like, big school, Central Florida is the biggest school, has the biggest campus in the nation. What the heck do you mean? And I was, in my mind, I'm like, I have to go to Ivy League type S school, really higher up school. And Central Florida its requirements are pretty high, and I'm so proud that I made it there. Like, it's awesome. But that's my mentality. I'm like, I need to get into Harvard or some stupid stuff like that. Like, Courtney, you don't need to go to an expensive school to be great. Always remember that. Anyhow, back to my story. I didn't think I was gonna go there. So first day we get there, we go to the University of Florida. I am pumped. I'm so excited. I'm gonna be walking around campus. This is where I'm gonna go to school. Get there, disappointment. I didn't like it. I didn't feel at home there. I didn't like the setup. It was crowded. It wasn't for me. And I knew that the moment I stepped on campus, which sounds so cheesy, but it's so true. The moment I was there, I was like, no. But my mind was like, yeah, you want this, right, bud? And I'm like, no, I don't. Why are you making yourself like it when you don't? Why do I do that? So University of Florida disappointed me, and that's okay, because I knew then that I was not going to apply to that school, because why waste the money? And I knew that it just wasn't who I was. So then we went to Florida State first. Florida State, let me tell you, is beautiful. Have you ever seen, I'm asking you as if you're really here, but you are. So if you ever seen Monsters University, it seriously looks like the campus in Monsters University. Beautiful brick buildings, fountain, nice little like courtyard areas. Oh my god, and it was sorority week. So girls are dressed up and they're going to all these big houses. These sororities are huge. I'm just in awe of it. And I was like, oh, well, this is at my top of my list now. I think I really want to, not really want to go here, but I'm thinking that if I don't make it in to the school I want, or if I don't like University of Central Florida, this is the school that I want to get into, one of my top priorities. And the only down part about it, or the main reason why I didn't choose it, was the fact that it was so sorority based, that it wasn't my top choice when I went to Central Florida, if that makes sense. Like, when I found out about Central Florida and went there, Central Florida became my first, and Florida State. And the reason Florida State was not my first choice was because it was hugely sorority based. I felt really like, this is gonna sound weird, but like preppy almost, like hoity-toity kind of thing, if you know what I'm saying. And that's just not who I am. I'm not. It just felt really proper, and that's weird to say about a college, but it did. And that's, like I said, it's not who I am. I didn't feel like I fully belonged there, and I knew I wasn't going to join a sorority, so I'm like, well, why here? You know? And then I got to the University of Central Florida. And the moment I stepped on campus, I'm like, I love this place. I really freaking love this place. This place is beautiful. It's big and spacious, which for somebody like me is kind of, you think would terrify me, because I'm always anxious, you know, big places, different people, new people, scared Courtney. But no, it was big and I liked it. I liked it. And it was very modern-esque. There's new, what do you call them, dorms that are absolutely stunning. This gym, which may happen to factor into why I wanted to go there. Pretend I didn't say that. Beautiful, beautiful gym. All these extracurriculars. They have hammocks hanging up. They have an awesome, like, just an awesome setup. It was absolutely amazing. It was like its own little town, and I felt really immersed in it, and it just was what I wanted, and I fell in love with it. And I'm like, it's not hoity-toity, it's pretty, like, it's almost feel like your own little city, like I said. So I was like, I like this. Like, I want to feel, it makes you feel really independent, which is one of the reasons why I am leaving Wisconsin and going down to Florida to kind of live like a more independent life. And that's what it made me feel like. I felt like a woman. Just kidding. But it really, I loved it the second I went on there. So that's kind of my story and why I chose Central Florida. I want to let you know that I also toured UW Milwaukee, and I loved it there. I loved the campus. I loved, they have a really good film department, but like I said, I wanted to get away from home, and I knew I wanted to get away a little bit, Florida, but you know what I mean. I wanted to get away, and I just didn't want to stay here, and that's pretty much, if I were to go to school in Wisconsin, it would definitely be UWM for film. If you are going to be a film student and want to stay in Wisconsin, I would definitely recommend UWM. Their system's incredible. Their campus is nice. You're pretty local. You have the Milwaukee Film Festival. There's so many opportunities to present your work that it's just awesome. Now that I finished my little story, I'm gonna give you some tips on how to choose your school, which is probably the only reason you're here. You're like, Courtney, I do not care about your story, or you might have just skipped to this part, which is totally fine. I understand. So my first tip is actually visit the school. I had no idea how important it really was to get immersed in the culture of the school and get immersed in the community and just feel it out. Look around the campus, see what the campus actually looks like in person. I never knew how important that was, but if I didn't tour, I think I'd be going to the University of Florida and I would not be happy. So I would definitely tour the schools. Like I said, University of Central Florida was not in my mind at all until I toured it. It was not in my top until I toured it. So I really recommend that you tour the schools. Number 2, make sure that your college is advanced, I would say, in your field of study, or near something that enhances your education in that field, if that makes sense. Like, the main reason I wanted to go to California is because obviously the Hollywood's there, and that's the business I'm getting into. I'm getting into like the Hollywood-esque business. I want to be a director. That would just make sense to me. And one of the reasons that I chose Florida also was because if I couldn't go to California, I kind of thought, what is the next best place for businesses like this? And instantly I thought, Florida. Florida, you have Universal, you have Nickelodeon, is that a thing? You have Disney, obviously. So you're still kind of in that realm. You haven't totally left it, but yet you're not in it. But I thought this is the next best place for me until I can afford going to California. So that's kind of why I chose Florida in a way. And just make sure that your school is good in your department, that is strong in your department. You know, if you're not near your field, like I am, kind of how I connected that, make sure that you're strong, or your school's strong in that department. That's not to say that you can't be amazing and do amazing things if it's not strong. You make that field strong at your school. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, you know what? I don't know many directors that have come from the University of Central Florida. I'm sure there's some, I'm sure there's many, but not super well known, and I'm gonna change history. I'm getting too ahead of myself, but that's my dream, and dreams sometimes come true, so who knows. And then 3rd, which is kind of the obvious one, keep cost into consideration. If you know it's insanely expensive for you and cannot afford it, I would not recommend going to that school. Yes, college is not going to be affordable for most people, in fact, but make sure it's at least accessible in the long run. Like if I went to UCLA, which is 70 grand a year, well, what I researched it was, so tell me if it's different, but what I researched it was like near 70 grand or 60 grand or whatever in that realm. I could never afford that in my wildest dreams. But University of Central Florida is like 30 grand, which is obviously a huge price difference and a lot more easier for me to achieve. Number 4, cultural wise at your school, make sure there's activities at your school that you want to be a part of. Make sure that there's like different things for you to do outside schooling, because you're going to be living on this campus and you're going to be wanting to do other things and just go to school. So make sure if they have like different clubs you want to take part of, or different sports, intramural sports, or just like gym, like having a nice gym if that's important to you. Just make sure they have things that are important to you, pretty much. 5, which is probably the most hard thing to say and the most hard thing to accept, but think in your head rationally if it's if getting in is achievable. Now, I'm not saying don't apply to colleges that you kind of are weary on if you're going to get into or not, or if you want to apply to Harvard just to see the denial, bring it on. But regulate how many unrealistic colleges you're applying to, just because college admission, like, what do you call them? Why am I blanking? College applications, thank you, are expensive to turn in. They're like $60. I mean, it ranges from school, but I know people pay up to like $80 to $90 for admission fees, and that's insane, because you could be saving that, putting it towards your college. So just make sure that in the long run you're balancing your unrealistic schools to your realistic. And then 6, which is the most important thing to me personally, is comfort. Are you comfortable in the dorms? Are you comfortable in the campus? Are you comfortable with the activities that they're doing? Are you comfortable with how big the school is or how small the school is? Are you comfortable with how far away it is from home? Things like that are huge factors, whether you like it or not, and that's pretty much one of the main reasons why I chose University of Central Florida, because I felt comfortable. Unlike any other school, it made me feel so comfortable. And I don't know if I'm like a comfort craze or anything, but that is what I value most. And it's what you should probably value most too, because you're going to be going to the school, you're going to be living at the school. You want to feel at home here. So yeah, that is my story. Those are my tips. I hope you guys all have a wonderful time searching for colleges and find the college that you want and get accepted into the college that you want. Like I said, I am not a professional or know everything. I'm just going into college. Like, I'm not even in college yet, but this is kind of just what I think of, my personal views as an incoming freshman, and they might change when I'm a senior. So maybe I'll make a senior, maybe when I'm a senior, I'll make a video like this. But so as of right now, can I talk? Please? No, I don't think so. That's what my brain's telling me. But yeah, that's just my tips, my own personal tips, like I said. And that's my own personal story. Now, if you have any other tips that you'd like to share, put them in the comment box below. Type them up. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to tell me where you're going to college, put it down below and maybe we can have a conversation and be friends. I'll hope you have a wonderful day. You are beautiful human beings. Bye!